For practice activity 3B, we'll be working with the same drawing we worked with for 3A, and we'll be refining and improving on the surface information. So continuing with that same drawing, we're going to pick any one of the contour lines to select the whole ex-topo surface. So with that surface selected, the contextual tab that relates to surfaces and surface properties opens. We're going to click on surface properties, and we're going to change the surface style. So for ex-topo, for our surface style, we're going to click the little drop down, and we're going to look for contours and triangles. Having found that and selected it, I'll click OK. And right away you can see the whole surface is changed. I'm going to hit escape to unselect the surface. So now we see the very dense mesh. We're going to navigate to a pre-created view, and we'll go to the View tab, to the named views, and we'll click on View Manager. We're looking specifically for the pre-created view, Surf Break Line. With that selected, we'll set it current, and that'll help us focus exactly on what we're looking for. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a break line to define how the surface trends just on the north side of our road. So we're going to expand the drawing collection in tool space to surfaces, and we'll go into surfaces. We're going to the ex-topo surface, and we're going down to definition, and we're going to, for the ex-topo surface, go down under the definition group, select break lines. We'll right click and we'll choose to add a break line. Now, we're going to name this break line Ridge. It'll be a standard break line. And I'm going to click OK, and then I'll be prompted to select the object. I'm going to select the red polyline that appears just to the north of our road. So with that selected, I'll click Enter, and you can see that the mesh representing that surface has already been modified. All right, so we've altered our surface to account for a ridge in the geology, and now we're going to go and look at some survey. So we're going to incorporate some survey data into our project. So we're going to have to create a connection to our survey database. So in the Toolspace Prospector tab, we're going to navigate to the Survey tab. From the Survey tab, we're going to highlight Survey Databases. We'll right-click, and we'll choose Set Working Folder. Now we have to find the file within the exercise files. Yes, survey databases. Okay, so that is our working folder with our survey data. We'll click Select Folder to select it, and you'll see it adds the databases, the folders that were within that database to our Toolspace Survey tab. So with that information there, I'm going to select the database, Survey Data Complete. I'll right-click, and I'll choose Open for Edit. All right, we're not going to double click because that would open it in read-only format. We're going to expand the Survey Data Complete collection, and we're looking specifically for figures. When we highlight figures, we'll see in the preview area the list of figures that were part of that survey. I'm going to just click to drag this up so I can see a little more, but these are all of the figures that were within that survey database. So with those selected, we're going to go down in the list, and we're looking specifically for a survey figure named Pile. They're in alphabetical order. We'll There it is, pile. So with that selected, we'll right click and we're going to choose Create Break Lines. And now within our Create Break Lines dialog box for our surface, we're going to make sure that that is set to ex topo. We're going to check the box to set that to yes for break line. And we'll click OK to close it. So we've just created a break line from a survey figure in the working folder that we just established of a pile. And we're going to give it the name Rock Pile from Site Survey. So that is our break line name. It is a standard break line. We'll click OK to close that. OK. And now the event viewer will open in the panorama view. There are a few errors. We can zoom in to the error by selecting the zoom to at the far right column. So if we scroll all the way over there and we click zoom to, it takes us right to the point for the error. And that is that when we built the surface from the contour type objects, each of those objects became a break line, and the software doesn't allow break lines to cross. So for now, we're simply going to choose to clear all of the events. So under Action, we're going to choose Clear All Events. All right, and then we'll click the green check mark above the panorama viewer to close it. And in model space, I'm going to click on one of these surface lines. Again, that opens the contextual tab relating to surfaces. I'm going to go ahead and click on surface properties. And the surface properties dialog box for the surface ex topo opens, and I need to go in and set it to allow crossing break lines. So we're going to go to the definition tab. We're going to go expand build, and we're going to scroll on down, allow crossing break lines, and we're going to set that to yes. All right, and then for the elevation to use, rather than use average break line, we're going to set that to use last break line elevation at intersection. Having made those changes, we'll click OK. And now, because we've made some changes in how we defined the break lines and how they're going to act, we're prompted to either rebuild or mark the surfaces out of date. We're going to click to rebuild. And now, when we look, you'll see that all of the items that we had listed as errors have now been modified, and the break lines were crossed, so we're made aware of that, but we'd set the definition to allow crossing break lines. So I'm going to close the panorama view here. All right, and we're going to add another break line. So I'm going to hit Escape to unselect the surface. I'm going to go to the survey database in the Survey tab, and we're going to look specifically at figures again, which we still have open here. So figures is highlighted, and now we're looking for the wall figure. So we're going to scroll on down. We'll highlight the wall figure. We're going to right click, and we're going to choose to create break lines. And now, again, the surface will be ex topo. We're going to set to check the box for yes to make our wall figure a break line. We'll click OK to close that dialog and apply that. And then for our description, we're going to name it Rock Wall from Site Survey. We're going to set the type to wall. I'm going to click OK. And now, when I'm prompted to pick an offset side, I'm going to click below the red polyline. And now, if you look at the command prompt, now that we've selected the offset side, we're prompted to enter a wall height. We're going to go with an option of all. And then for elevation, we're going to go with 1.5. Go ahead, enter. Okay, so we've created a break line using a survey figure wall. So we've made quite a bit of progress with refining our surfaces. We used a ridge, we used a pile, we used a wall, and we've applied a variety of types of break lines to our surface. I'm going to save my drawing.